Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today, we're going to be taking a tour of my supercar garage in Grand Theft Auto Online. As you guys can see by the view behind me and by the general shape of this building, we are in a 20-car CEO office garage, meaning that I have 20 supercars to show you guys in this video. Now, I want to make this clear again, similar to the last video. For anybody who thinks that I'm like flexing or something, I don't know, that's mad weird, but I'm not. This is so you guys can get ideas of customizations that I've done on my personal supercars, so that maybe you guys can go and make some adjustments to your own. Anyway guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the bottom floor of my supercar garage. There are 3 floors of this, so it's gonna be a bit of a longer video, but I think you guys are gonna really enjoy this. So let's get into it. To start off with, the first supercar in the garage is the Pagasi Vodka. This thing goes for about $200,000 and it is a very underwhelming car, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say it's a very good car, but it's pretty underwhelming. For 200 grand, I mean, there's not many cars you could get that are like, you know, a lot better than this thing, but it's not the greatest car ever. It could be a lot better, but it is still a pretty cool one. Definitely one that I enjoy having in my garage for sure. On to the next car in the garage, we have the RE7B. Now this thing is pretty much bone stock. I don't think I've actually customized this car yet. I was fully intending to, but I don't think I ever got around to it, or maybe I did and I just don't really remember. Actually, you know what? I think I did customize this. I think I customized it on the channel, but my RE7B, this thing's pretty expensive. It used to be the fastest supercar in the game, not anymore. On to the next vehicle, we of course have the Chevelle Taipan. This is one of a couple massive cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's also a car that has engine resistance, so I'm not a super huge fan of this thing. I almost never drive this. In fact, the only reason that I actually own this thing is for a couple of videos that I made a little while ago, and I've just never got around to selling it. It's a good looking car, like sort of, don't get me wrong, but it's just not my favorite car to drive. It does have engine resistance, like I mentioned, so it's just not really that fun. Next up, of course, we have the Truffade Nero. This is based off of a Bugatti Chiron in real life. I believe this thing goes for about 1.6 or 1.4 million, somewhere in that range. I've got the chrome rims on this thing because I felt like it fit really nicely with this car. Obviously, I think I have the ultra blue, or maybe it's bright blue on this thing. Looks pretty good though. Obviously, I've got the ultra blue interior, I think that is there. I love this car. It's definitely one of my cleanest cars that I've ever customized, I think. I'm really happy with how the customization turned out. I mean, it's just a great looking car in my opinion, and that's pretty much it for the Truffade Nero. Next up, of course, we have the Pagassi Zentorno. This is a car that I am very fond of. I think still to this day, the Zentorno is one of the best bang for your buck supercars in Grand Theft Auto Online, and maybe not even supercars, just best bang for your buck cars. This thing goes for $725,000. It has great acceleration, it handles really nicely, it's got good customization. Really, there's nothing wrong with the Zentorno. It's a great car, and I believe it's somewhere within the top 30 fastest supercars in Grand Theft Auto Online still, and this thing came out in 2014, I believe it was, so that is pretty crazy. And last but not least, on the bottom floor of the garage, we of course have the Pagassi Tesseract. Now, I absolutely hate this car. The only reason I own it is for videos, and most of those videos that I ever include this thing in are videos where I'm not speaking fondly of the Tesseract. Now, I know this thing has a lot of fans, and I fully respect anybody's opinion. If you like the Tesseract, good for you. However, I would advocate for any of you who are thinking about buying one to really consider some other options first. This thing is really expensive. It costs almost $3 million, and it handles absolutely terribly. The back tires are made out of wood, and the front tires like have grip. I don't know, they're made out of rubber, I guess. It's a very odd car. It's fully electric too, so it does have really good acceleration, and it is immune to catch up in races, which is pretty good. So in a long straightaway race, the Tesseract, if you're in first place, can be a pretty good car, but for the most part, I find it kind of useless, and I don't really like it that much. But like I said, I have it just for videos. To start off the second floor of my garage here, we have the Dubachi Champion. Now this thing is an awesome car. I've got the crew color red on this thing. If you guys want to join my crew, by the way, I've been getting a lot of requests to join the crew. The crew is 2313WM. If you guys want to join, that is the crew. You can go ahead and join. You can get this crew color if you want to. I just figured I'd plug that because a lot of people have been asking me in the comments to make a crew, and I already have one. So join up, boys. The Champion, fantastic car all around. It's a pretty quick car. Definitely not going to win any supercar races with this thing just because it's super competitive, but definitely a really fun car for free mode. This thing does have Imani tech, obviously, so you can put a missile lock-on jammer to keep the pesky Oppressor Mark IIs away. It's also got an armor upgrade. You can equip it with machine guns, which I have on this thing. The machine guns do a lot of damage. And of course, it has an oil slick proximity mine dropper, which is really useful for spinning people out behind you that are chasing you. Great car, definitely recommend it, and it's actually on sale this week, so if you're looking to get one, now is the time. Next up, we have the Vapid Bullet. This thing goes for $155,000, and I do believe it is the cheapest car in this entire garage. The Bullet is definitely a special car to me. It handles really nicely, honestly, for 155 grand. The performance is great. I mean, it's pretty quick in a straight line. It's got good acceleration and it's got really good handling. Unfortunately, absolutely no customization, but it is based off of like a 2005 Ford GT, which is really cool. Great car, definitely recommend picking this thing up. I mean, it's 155k. The worst case scenario is you sell it and you maybe lose like, 50 grand. It's a great car though. I don't see why you would sell it. Definitely give this thing a shot if you've never tried one before. And of course, if you're curious to see what it's like, go steal one off of the street for free first and drive it around a little bit. Next up, we have the Pagassi Infernus. Now, the Infernus is an OG supercar, much like the Bullet. These two were both added with the game in 2013. The Infernus is definitely a special car to me. I remember grinding a certain mission. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now, but I remember grinding it for several hours in a row in order to get myself an Infernus back on the Xbox 360. It's a great car. It's actually rear-wheel drive only, which a lot of people don't know. At least I think it's probably a little bit all-wheel drive, but I believe that this thing has about a 90% rear power bias. If it isn't just straight rear wheel drive, which is kind of surprising. A lot of people think this thing is like fully all wheel drive, like 50-50 split to each axle, but I don't think so. The Infernus doesn't have much customization. It is still a very cool car nonetheless. Definitely a fun one to drive, but definitely one that you're not going to win any races with. It goes for $440,000. It's a good car, but it's, not one that I would go and strive to get unless you really like the look of it. Next up, we have the Banshee 900R. Now, this is the Banshee. You take it to Benny's or any custom auto shop within any property that you own, and you can upgrade it to the Banshee 900R. Now, the regular Banshee is actually a sports car, but when you upgrade it to the 900R, it becomes a supercar. Now, it handles terribly, I gotta say, but it is a really fun car to drive. It's very easy to drift. It has tons of customization because, of course, it is a Benny's vehicle. There is so much that you can do to this thing to make it unique and make it your own. My customization on this thing is it's got a diamond blue with an ice white pearlescent on it, and I can't remember any other customization options, but some people have been requesting me to customize this thing on the channel, so if you guys want to see a customization of the 900R, let me know in the comments down below. Matter of fact, let me know if you want to see any of these cars customized. I'd be happy to do them. Next up, we have the Pfister 811. This thing is based off of a Porsche 918 Spider, and this thing goes for about $1.15 million in Grand Theft Auto Online. It has one of the highest top speeds in the game, that is on last gen, not counting the HSW vehicles. Its top speed is about 133, I believe, or maybe 136. I believe it's 133 though. Very quick in a straight line. Kind of sucks in races, honestly. The handling is just, it's never been there, which is really unfortunate. It's kind of an ugly car, but from some angles, it's really sick looking. Like from the back angle, I think this is one of the best looking cars in the entire game. However, from the front angle, whatever Rockstar did with the grille options on this car just didn't really work. So from the back, I think it's a great looking car. I think it's a really unique shape, really awesome. But from the front, it's just like, I don't know. Still love the car. You can make it a topless vehicle, or you can put a roof on it as well, just in case you guys were wondering. Very cool car, definitely one to pick up. Of course, next up, the next supercar is the Canis Seminole. You guys definitely probably know all about the Canis Seminole from my channel. Definitely one of the fastest cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. I say one of the fastest, it is the fastest, duh. And it's not actually in the supercars category, but the Canis Seminole is the only vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online that is actually in every single category in the entire game. So you can use this vehicle in supercars races, sports races, off-road races, air races, sea races, pretty much you name it, I mean, you can do it, literally. So the Canna Seminole, jack of all trades, goes for $30,000, one of the most armored vehicles in the game. Definitely my favorite SUV style vehicle in the entire game. Next up, and last but not least, on this floor of the garage, we have the Grotty Furia. Now the Grotty Furia, a lot of the community really doesn't like this car, and I don't understand why. It's a little bit on the big side, but I mean, it's nowhere near the size of the Taipan down there. That thing is absolutely gargantuan. It's like a limousine. The Furia is awesome. It is all-wheel drive, handles great, tons of customization. You can make this thing look absolutely amazing. I mean, I love my customization on this thing. I think it's super clean. You guys might not like it, but I think it's super, super sick. Definitely a car that I would recommend picking up. It's great, handles well. I mean, it pretty much does it all. So that's pretty much it for the second floor of the garage. Let's move up to the third floor. Alright, and on the third floor we have some of my favorite supercars in the entire game, and we're going to go ahead and start it off with the Grotty Cheetah. Now, the Cheetah, I know a lot of people really don't like this car. It goes for $650,000. It is an OG car in Grand Theft Auto Online. I know the front is not the best looking vehicle ever. I would fully agree with that. However, what I really like about this car is this crazy spoiler you can put on it and all the carbon options. If you saw my sports car garage tour, I'm sure you heard all about carbon fiber. I got a lot of comments about that. And I like carbon fiber, and if you couldn't tell, I like yellow and carbon fiber. That's like a thing for me. I'm not sure if that's as a result of my partial color blindness or what, but I really think that it just looks awesome. It's a fun car to drive, handles really nicely, pretty quick in a straight line. Not going to win any supercar races, but it's just a nice car for free mode, to be honest. Next up, we have my favorite car in the entire game, and that is, of course, the True Fade Adder. And now, no, this isn't because I'm like some Bugatti like fanboy or whatever, like the Bugatti Veyron's the best car ever. The Adder's actually a really like kind of boring car in GTA. This thing has no customization whatsoever. But what I like about the Adder is at one point this was the status symbol in GTA Online. This was the car that cost $1 million to buy. And if you saw somebody with an Adder in original Grand Theft Auto Online, you knew that they were like just bawling out of their minds. And that's not even really why I like this car. I can't truly explain it. I love how the car handles and the sound that it makes. The acceleration to me on the Adder is one of the craziest accelerations in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I know on paper it's really not that fast, but there's something that you can do with the Adder to just make it go insanely quick off the line and down the drag strip. I mean, it's a fun car to drive. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It doesn't have a spoiler option even, so it doesn't get any sort of traction bonus. It's literally my favorite car in Grand Theft Auto Online. I've owned so many of these things, and definitely a really important car to me. So that's it for the Adder. Let's move on to the next vehicle, and this is of course the True Fade Thrax. Now the Thrax, I actually customized this one pretty recently on the channel, probably in about February, so a couple months ago. I'm really happy with the customization on this thing. It's definitely one of my favorite supercars that I've customized on the channel. I believe it's an olive green with a black secondary, and I don't know what the pearlescent is, but it's probably like some sort of green, I think. Definitely a fantastic looking car in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't really like the green on the Bugatti, but I think it just looks so damn good. Of course, everyone's free to their own opinion. If you don't agree, that is fine. I've got the custom colored stock wheels on this vehicle. I've made a video on how to do this. It only works for certain people on certain platforms, which is really annoying. As far as I know, it works for pretty much everybody on PC, so long as the rims are not chrome. If the rims are chrome, it will not work on any platform. This does work on PC though. I have a full guide on how to do it. I'm not going to explain it in this video, but if you're interested, you can of course check that out. And it works for some people and it doesn't work for others. It's just sort of a chance you have to take. Unfortunately, but definitely a great looking car in my opinion. Definitely one of the ones that I'm probably the most proud of my customization on. I think this thing looks absolutely fantastic. So, and a big part of that is due to like the person who designed this car. I mean, whoever did that did a great job. So anyways, on to the next vehicle. It is of course the Overflowed Entity Xf. This is another super OG car. This thing came out with the game, like the Cheetah and the Adder. This thing was originally the fastest supercar in Grand Theft Auto Online when it came to racing. It's absolutely awesome, super quick, very quick in a straight line. Off the line it is a little slower because it is rear wheel drive only. This thing does actually have a little bit of customization though that you can do to it, which is pretty nice. It's got some carbon options on it. The spoiler is an option and the diffuser is an option, I believe, the side skirts and I think the front bumper. So kind of cool. There's actually some stuff you can do to this thing. It's obviously based pretty heavily off of a Koenigsegg. It's up for debate which one it's based off of. I think it's a Nagera or maybe a CCX. Not 100% sure, but definitely a very cool car. Next up, we have the Pagassi Tempesta. Now, I actually copied TJ Hunt. You guys might be familiar. His Lamborghini Huracan wide body build for my build of this car in Grand Theft Auto Online. The car actually belongs to Whistling Diesel now, if you guys know who Whistling Diesel is. And he actually just broke the rear engine cover on the car in real life with a hammer. I saw that on Instagram the day that I'm recording this, so that's awesome. Great car. I can't remember the color of this thing. It's not quite the same as the Thrax there, but I do have a customization on my channel of this car. If you guys are interested, just look up like HarmNone TJ Hunt Lamborghini. You should find it. It should be right there. Definitely one of my favorite customizations that I've done. Sometimes I will occasionally try to copy a YouTuber or somebody famous and see if I can get their build in GTA. And this is one that I feel like actually turned out decently well. So could have been better, but still looks pretty decent, I think. And for the second to last car in my Supercars garage, we have the Osla XA21. This is probably the best sounding car in the entire game, or if not second best. It does share a sound with quite a few other cars. This is a customization I am super proud of. I have the stone silver rims there. I've got the diamond blue interior, I believe that is, and I'm not sure what the color is. It's maybe like gasoline green, or maybe it's like a dark steel. I really don't know. Again, I'm colorblind, so this is one of the colors that I could honestly not tell you what it is. It's obviously got a pearlescent on it as well, which makes it a little bit more challenging for a person like myself. Great customization on this car though. It's a fantastic car. Definitely one to pick up. It's just outside of the top 10 fastest supercars now. I believe now that the HSW vehicles are out in Grand Theft Auto Online, so still a semi-competitive car. Definitely one for free mode. It is all-wheel drive. Definitely a cool car. Definitely one to pick up. One that I would recommend for sure. And last but not least, we have the Progen T20. I wish this car had more customization, but unfortunately it doesn't. This was the first car in Grand Theft Auto Online, I believe, to have an active rear spoiler, which is very cool. This thing's based pretty heavily off of a McLaren P1 in real life, as I'm sure you guys are probably aware. Very cool car. I've gone for a diamond blue, I think, on it, and a black secondary color. And I don't actually think that there is a pearlescent on this thing because it makes the secondary color look a little bit weird. Awesome car, T20, super sick, goes for $2.2 million. For that price, you can definitely get some better cars now, unfortunately, but still, I mean, it's a great car. Definitely one to try to pick up if you guys don't have one or if you've never driven one. It is actually a very cool car. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been my supercar garage tour in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys enjoyed this video, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike of course. Comment down below, let me know what other garages you guys want to see of mine in Grand Theft Auto Online and I will make it happen. If you want to see any of these cars customized, I can also do that. Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you guys are new and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.